extra leggy.
Morse code.
Alright, we're live.
Alright.
We're lit, boys.
We lit.
I really hope that's not the case. I hope you guys can hear me.
What'd you say? You broke up.
Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna find a game time.
That's so
Okay.
bad on my...
Ooh, anyone check out the time challenges? Oh, it's strike. Great.
No, I don't want to play Strike. No thanks.
Too late. Too late, baby.
Crap. Hate Strike. Hate it.
So what's in your notes to talk about, Chaz?
Oh man, so much. Sorry, I was staring at my phone for a second. Hey guys, we have a special guest this week. I was gonna wait until we got everything together, but he did that without me thinking about it. So, but Will is hanging out with us. I appreciate you stopping by, man, and chatting with Star Wars about, it's fun. Appreciate it. Last week I missed it because I've been working a ton of hours lately, so I needed to get like at least a couple hours sleep before I started my next shift because I only had like a couple hours in between shifts. So I had to crash, so I apologize. But I am here. I'm on very little sleep. I haven't slept since yesterday at I woke up around like midnight, so I've been up for a while. But it's all good. It's all good. I'm here, and I'm ready to talk. Ready to talk Star Wars. Yeah. So last week I wanted to talk about the Jedi Order. As far as I had a couple things I wanted to talk about regarding the Jedi Order, but
Sweet game.
just kind of in the context of what happens to them after, now that we've seen The Last Jedi. And Will, you went with Adam and Jared, right?
3 times.
One of the times we were in the front right corner, so we had to crane our heads to the left, and it was in 3D.
Oh, jeez.
So it was like, oh man, it was rough. Good experience though. It was funny.
It was awesome.
Yeah. I came out of the theater super cross-eyed. Ran into a wall.
Yeah, right. A cross-eyed Jared sounds like.
Like walking through walls.
Yeah. So, so I've been rereading a lot of older books, and I just recently finished up rereading The Dark Lord, like Rise of the Dark Lord or something like that. It's like it's James Luceno wrote it. But it's a really good book, and it had me thinking a little bit about the Jedi Order, and just first off, the first thing I wanted to talk about was, and I think we've talked about this before, but somebody argued with me about it yesterday or the other day at work, and I was getting so annoyed because I was like, people don't understand that there's the Jedi Order, and you just aren't people just think a Jedi is just if you have a lightsaber, you're a Jedi.
No.
And I was trying to explain to him, no.
See, I don't know why you bother talking to people like that.
It's like if you're a dark side user, you're not Sith.
See, like me,
well, that's what I'm trying to explain to him.
If I hear a Star Wars conversation, you gotta sit on the wall for about 5 minutes to see if they know what they're talking about. If not, it's
and then just put up your blinders.
Yeah.
Well, but I was like, I don't know if this is just a common misconception, or if this is because I'm casually, does it just seem like anyone who has a lightsaber is a Jedi?
So by that standard, Finn would be a Jedi. Since he
well, I'm just thinking if people just... I did think that he could have been Force. I said that he could be Force sensitive. I didn't say he was a Jedi. I said he was Force sensitive. It's much different. But yeah. Either way, I didn't know if this was just the casual fan just doesn't understand this because it never really came across in the film, or if it's just like one of those things that like maybe I don't know. But then you know, it was more towards like we were talking about the Sith Order, and he was like, oh well, you know, there's all these other Siths, but like I was trying to explain to him like like right now, from my understanding, like Darth Plagueis is still canon because he gets mentioned in
yeah, he's canon.
Yeah.
He gets mentioned in the prequels. So he's canon, which I would assume would mean that unless they rewrite the whole thing, I would assume that means that that whole Bane Sith line
it's all
that
canon.
he comes from still exists. Right,
Yeah,
okay,
wasn't
so
Bane
it's
in
still
Clone
canon.
Wars?
Yeah, it's all
yeah,
canon.
he was. Yeah, so the only way you can be a part of the Sith, like the only way you're an official Sith Lord is if you descend from that Bane line. That's like that's the official like Sith line. Anything outside that is really just pretenders, because he was trying to tell me like, oh, Snoke was a Sith, but I'm like, well, we don't know that because we don't know if he's in that line. And he was like, well, he was a dark side user, so he was a Sith. I'm like, no,
Right,
that's
I mean
not...
that's more of a
that's not how
technical
it works.
definition than I would say the Jedi definition is, but it's technically right.
Yeah, but I was like, you're wrong. It's not. He's not a Sith. He's just uses the dark side. But I don't know if he's a part of that line because we don't know anything about him. But either way, I say that all of that to say that I'm just wondering now that we've seen how the Last Jedi has kind of taken the whole series, if those definitions are still. If you guys think those definitions are still going to be relevant, or if they're just going to get thrown out the window, because is there a Sith Order, is there a Jedi Order anymore, or are those things gone now?
I think there's still a Jedi Order. She's got the texts, and you know, she trained with Luke, and I think that it's probable that she'll train with a Force ghost of either Luke or Yoda or Obi-Wan or a combination of all of them. So I think that the Jedi Orders are for sure. And like you said, we're not sure that Snoke wasn't Sith. And also that Kylo's not, by extension. So you're right, a red lightsaber and using Force lightning isn't the only qualification for being a Sith. But I think that either one of them could end up qualifying.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. Well, yeah, I'm just thinking that, like, you know, because Kylo was trained by Snoke, and like we said, we don't know where Snoke really comes from, and I don't know if we're ever going to get that explanation, and I know a lot of people are upset because they're thinking, like, oh, we're never going to get that explanation, but the more I thought about it, because I was one of those people who's kind of annoyed about that for a little while, and then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know,
it doesn't really matter.
We'll get it from some throwaway comic book or like the back of a trading card or something. They never let it go, okay.
These Lego Star Wars.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Lego Star Wars.
Like a cereal box.
Lego Star Wars is pretty hysterical, so that'd be awesome actually. So I was also thinking if Rey was to get the Jedi Order back up and running, which is kind of what I think we're assuming is going to happen, what would you guys think to either get rid of or add on to the Jedi Order as far as kind of the way they operate to make it work better? Because it was clearly flawed. And I won't get into the millions of reasons why it's flawed, because I know it's super biased of me to talk that way. But still, it is flawed. So I don't know, what would you change about it? Because I know I would change many things about it.
I don't know. I don't even know if she'll make any changes though, because she doesn't really even know. Well, I guess she has the sacred text, but
yeah,
that's all she.
So I mean, like, as far as like stuff like, do you think she should keep things like the whole not having attachments thing? Because like if Anakin was allowed to bring his mom along with him, he would have been fine. You know, so like, you know, obviously she's not gonna go use that example, but I just mean, you know,
would he
things
have
like
been fine,
small
though?
things like that.
I think that was just.
I don't
I
think
know.
that it's a foregone conclusion that she restarts the Jedi Order. I just think that she has the tools to do so if she decides, but I don't necessarily think that's what she wants to do. She was
don't really know.
like, Luke knew that he wanted to be a Jedi, like from the very beginning. He wanted to be a Jedi. He wanted to follow in that religion, and you know that gave him his purpose. But Rey doesn't know what she wants. She's asking for someone to show her what to want. And Luke knew what he wanted. He was asking for someone to show him how to get it. So I think that it's not necessarily a for sure thing that she does that just because she has the texts. So I don't know. In terms of what you would change, I think that the biggest thing that brought the Jedi down was also the biggest theme in Last Jedi, and that was just their arrogance and their hubris. And I mean, she's obviously lived through watching other people fall to that very weakness, and I don't know that she would be apt to fall to the same thing. But I think that's the biggest flaw the original Jedi Order had. Well, not the original, the prequel era Jedi Order had, was just that they were too blind to see what was about to happen to them, just like Snoke was.
Yeah. Right under their nose
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah, I think that the downfall of the Jedi Order was that it include, like, as well as this like attachment, or like I shouldn't say attachment, but they had this like not lust for power, but they definitely wanted to hold on to like this status that they had put themselves at within the galaxy, and like losing that, I think, started to get in the way of doing what they actually.
Well, not all of them. I think
not all of them.
Some
like
of
you
them
have
were
like
definitely, but
you have Jedi
even
like
the best
Obi-Wan,
ones,
who was
right,
great.
that's what I'm
but then
saying.
you have
Even the best,
Jedis,
most
like, you
pure
know,
ones couldn't see what was about to happen. So, like,
Yeah.
the weakness that's common between them is that, you know, arrogance and short-sightedness and belief that, you know, regardless of what's about to happen, you'll live through it. And obviously that didn't turn out true for any of them. So, I do agree that some of them probably were, you know, hungry for more or to retain their power. But I would argue that most of those people weren't masters. They were probably knights. Like Mace or Ki-Adi-Mundi or Plo Koon or Yoda or Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon. Those aren't people that I would say fell into that category.
Yeah, that's very true.
Mace
Very
was just
true.
a dick.
Mace was. But honestly, was he though? Like he didn't really do much that was that bad. He didn't trust Anakin, and that was probably a good idea.
I would say, if anything,
That's
Mace
true.
seems like a jerk because he was just the only one who could see through the ruse.
Anakin. Right.
Like he was the only one who
that too.
knew.
He was the
Like
only
he
one who
knew
just
he couldn't
didn't drink the
trust.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah, he knew he couldn't trust Palpatine for some reason. He didn't know why, but he just knew he couldn't. He knew he couldn't
Yeah,
trust.
even
Anakin.
Obi-Wan loved Palpatine.
Yeah, exactly. So I think
Yeah,
that
I think that
Mace
most
just
of
seems
them are
like a jerk.
uncomfortable with
He's
like
just-
the power of the Senate and all that, whereas Mace was uncomfortable specifically with Palpatine. But
Yeah.
but I don't
Leave it
think
to
he was
the
that
black
big a
guy
jerk.
not
The
to
biggest
trust
thing he
the
did that
man.
was yeah, exactly. The biggest thing that he did that was like jerky was not, you know, not giving Anakin Master. But then even then when he's about to go arrest Palpatine, he's like, dude, if you're, you know, right about this, you did good, and we'll talk when I get back. And Anakin's just
don't-
too much of a wuss to listen to that. So I think that I don't think that I would call any of them.
That's true. I think we forget that, like, you know, in hindsight, like, they're always talking about, like, the prequels, and you're like, oh, he didn't get Master and blah, blah, but he didn't get the rank of Master because, you're right, Mace Windu saw through the whole thing. He was like, you know,
Right.
Palpatine's only trying to put you here so he can spy on us. Like, we know that. And so, no, you're not going to be, you know, Master. So, like, he does seem like a jerk, but I think, I mean, it is only because he can see through all the nonsense that's going on, and he's like
Yeah,
the
I've never
only
thought
one
of him
who
as
seems
seeming like
to-
a jerk ever.
Yeah, I think I just, you know what,
could've
the
been
only
nicer,
reason, and I know
man.
this is probably dumb to say, but I never thought of him as a jerk only because it's Samuel Jackson. I'm like, that's just how he talks. Like, he's not being a jerk, it's just Samuel Jackson. He's just always angry.
Yeah, he was angry. He was definitely the angriest of the masters, but I don't think he was being unduly mean. Again, as it was proven later when it was probably a good idea not to trust anybody, let alone Anakin.
Yeah. You know what? I think he just took a stance and then he just didn't waver on it. Like from the very moment Anakin was even mentioned, he said, no, I don't think it's a good idea. And he wasn't like the other Jedi who, after Qui-Gon died, were like, you know what? Qui-Gon died. We should, you know, do this for Qui-Gon. He was still like, no, I don't care if he died. I still don't think this is still a bad idea.
That doesn't change anything. It was a bad idea before, it's a bad idea now.
Yeah, that's all it really was. That's funny. I don't think about that much. I always just think of Mace Windu as I don't know, purple lightsaber.
Yeah, he was definitely like,
it's like the joke,
salty a lot,
yeah.
But he wasn't mean.
That's true. So Kylo was voted the 7th best movie villain of all time.
By who?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I think it was. I am probably getting this wrong, so I'm so sorry, but I think it might have been Entertainment.
Out of all movies,
Entertainment Weekly?
It might have been either Entertainment or it was something. It's something.
Like a major magazine, not like
yeah. It was like a major. It was like a major publication. It was like a major publication.
That's ridiculous.
Voted him the 7th best.
That's dumb.
The 7th best
he's not even
and
like
most
7th best Star Wars villain.
7th best and most intriguing.
Oh my god!
It said something like that of all time.
Do you remember the rest of the top 10?
I don't. I'm gonna pull up the list right now. Actually, I'm gonna grab it. So that way I don't sound like a crazy person. But yeah, no, I thought that was incredibly interesting because I thought the same thing. I was like, wait, 7th?
All movies? Like all time Star Wars, maybe.
Not even just Star Wars. It was movies. it was movies. Yeah, I was pretty shocked by that. I mean, where do you think?
I'm a Star Wars fan, and I'm offended.
Okay, so if out of anywhere, and I'll let Will answer this. Out of anywhere within the Star Wars universe, not even just the movies, where do you think he would land? Number-wise, I guess.
Oh, this is.
Didn't I do this last week? Or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, with Jared's like 6.
Oh, that's right.
People. I agree with that.
Yeah,
this is like literally every big bad from Star Wars is better, other than maybe Dooku and Grievous. But Vader's better, the Emperor's better, Tarkin's better, Boba Fett's better.
Yes.
Jabba's better.
Yes.
Snoke's better. Like they're all better.
Bosk is better.
Yeah. He's alright, but he's like Will said, he's really compelling as a character. He's definitely intriguing, but he's not an amazing villain. He's OP in a lot of ways, which we've talked about, but top 7 villains of all time in movie history. That's
so
like,
I'm sorry, it was Screen Rant. Screen Rant was the one.
Oh, that's understandable. That's just a blog. Some dude just blogged that.
Screen Rant put this up. He did. I'm looking for like the full list of what they are saying, like how it fits in, but it just says like 7th grade.
What, has he only watched like 10 movies, and he's only watched like Avengers and Star Wars in his lifetime.
So Saboba's number 1.
Oh no, I'm sorry. This is just somebody. This is just somebody reporting on it. Empire Magazine was the one who put it out. So I was wrong. Empire Magazine put it out, but Screen Rant was just reporting on it. And they said among the top 10 was the number 1 was Darth Vader, of course.
In movie history.
In movie history, yeah, Darth Vader is number 1.
God,
that makes sense to
Star
me.
Wars, but No, I mean, it's arguable at least. Kylo Ren being top 20 is not arguable.
But if you listen to the rest, I don't know if you're gonna think this list is even credible. So it's Darth Vader, Ledger's Joker, Loki.
No, I'm out. You don't even have to keep talking.
Hans Gruber.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's gotta be top 5.
Yeah, Hans Gruber's definitely top 5. Hannibal Lecter, which I agree with.
Yeah, that's more of a book, but sure.
And then Hans Landa were like some of the top ones. But yeah, Kylo rank 7. I don't know if Palpatine's even on the list. I'm gonna try to find the actual list.
Oh my god. That's so bad. Vader being number 1 you could argue for, but like cinema history, like it's like 80 years of
Shirtless Kylo, number 7.
just unbelievable performances and screenwriting and everything that goes along with it. And you're gonna put Kylo up there.
If you had to put Kylo, and I know it's hard because it's like, you know, it's
cinematic history.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess in recent cinematic, I would have to say recent cinematic history, which I don't know what that would be.
Well, I mean, Die Hard's like 30 years old, so
that's true. Yeah.
Man, that's really. I don't even know that Kylo's like the top 5 villain from the last 3 years.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And I like Kylo. He's a compelling character. And I like Star Wars a lot, but this is why we look like idiots when we talk about liking Star Wars.
Oh my god. So here we go. Let me see if this is the actual list. So, number 50 is Dracula.
What year? That can't be recent history.
No, it's not. No, so this isn't recent movie history then. So this is an all-time movie history then.
Jesus Christ. Dracula's number 50, and Kylo's number 7. Dracula could be top 10 before Kylo.
And now it's not what's his name's Dracula. It's the other It's a different Dracula.
Bela Lugosi?
It's Christopher Lee.
Oh, okay. Still though.
Yeah. Vito Corleone. Definitely Vito Corleone, I think. But he's 49.
Yeah, I wonder how many people in the top 50 are going to name that I'd put above Kylo Ren. Probably all of them.
And then there's another Dracula makes 45 again, but the Bela Lugosi. Yeah, that one. And then wait, hold on a second. No, see now this is ridiculous because Mary Poppins is number 44.
As a villain?
Yeah.
That's some good stuff.
As a villain, oh my god.
He's on some death sticks.
I just wanted to see what the top like 20 were. I'm just gonna move all past this, but I just thought it was really interesting because I'm just like, how are they gauging this?
Yeah. Is there like a little blurb on each one?
Yeah. There's Jane Hudson. Whatever happened to Betty Jane? I've never seen that movie. That makes number 20.
I would put like Predator and Alien both above Kylo Ren.
Yes, definitely. Alex DeLarge from A Clockwork Orange is number 19. He's better than Kylo.
Yeah. So is I forget his name, the Colonel from Apocalypse Now, Marlon Brando's character. That dude's like top 5.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Norman Bates from Psycho.
Yeah. Oh my god.
All of these people came in before.
Oh my god. Better than Kylo Ren.
Exactly. Joe Pesci from Goodfellas.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of my top. But yeah, he didn't. And then Kylo Ren came in at 7. That's
wow.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
That's so funny.
Ivan Drago is better than Kylo Ren. This is painful for me.
Yeah. Yep. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. And then top one wasn't Darth Vader. I'm sorry. Darth Vader was number 3. Top one was Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal Lecter was actually number 1.
Who is the top 10?
The top 10 were. Hold on, let me go back.
Where's Sebulba?
As you asked that.
Bulldog.
The top 10 are Joe Pesci from Goodfellas as Tommy DeVito, Laurence Olivier from Richard III. He makes it in at number 9. Jack Wilson, or Jack Palance, I guess is the actor's name, from the movie Shane. I've never seen that. It's like an old
dude, top 3. That movie's classic.
That's number 8, and then number 7 is Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren, and then
above Jack Palance, the immortal Jack Palance.
And then Hans Beckert, Peter Lorre from the movie M. It's like a 1930s movie.
So it's definitely not recency history.
Ralph Fiennes from Schindler's List. I can't remember how to say his name. He played Aemon.
Ray Fiennes.
Yes, Ray
Fiennes. Voldemort.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Young Voldemort. Yeah, he was really young in that movie. That's right. Jodie Jarrett from White Heat. James Cagney from White Heat. Joel Powell comes in at number 3. Robert Mitchum, Night of the Hunter. Louis Fletcher, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, the nurse from that movie. Yep.
So wait, Darth Vader's not top 3?
Wait, Harry Powell. Yeah, no. So no, he's not. I'm sorry. I was reading a weird list. It was like a synopsis.
ranked higher than Darth Vader.
Yeah, so it was a synopsis. Yeah, it was a synopsis. This is like the actual list, and then Hannibal Lecter's at 1.
That's
so weird. I don't know why he would say I feel like the ones he had at the top were pretty good, and then it was like Kylo.
Yeah, that dude could tell me to watch a movie, and I would never ever listen to him. I hope he's not a critic.
I don't think he is. I think he's just a guy who wrote a list. But yeah, I thought it was interesting enough to talk about because I'm like, I love Kylo, but I don't think he's top 7 of all time.
No, God.
That's an absurd absurd notion.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah, that's hilarious though. But yeah, anyway, interesting. This new trilogy is being talked about a little bit. I was hearing, I read some interview with Ryan Johnson, and he brought up the trilogy and just said, he thought there was a lot of stories to tell just because the galaxy is so big. He didn't give anything away, obviously, because it's Disney and they'd shoot him in his face if he said anything. But he just said, the galaxy is really big. There's a lot of stories to tell. If you guys could choose an actor to play the main character in the next trilogy, who would the actor be? Or actress? And would they be a Force user? Would they not be a Force user? What would be kind of their role? If you could be the one to be like, all right, Disney's giving you the power to be like, you can pick the actor to play the main character, and you can kind of pick what their role would be along the plot line. Who would you choose for the new trilogy?
I have no idea.
You can do it. You can use your brains.
You guys go first.
I'm not going first on this.
Come on.
Will? I pick Will.
No?
That's too tough, because Star Wars usually picks a relative unknown to helm their trilogies.
But they also do pick usually a pretty big name as well to balance that out, to kind of bring people.
Not for an amazingly large role, though. I mean,
right? Exactly. It doesn't have to. I guess it doesn't have to be a huge role then. Just a main role. Like a main role, like one of the main characters, but not, the main role. If that helps at all. I just thought this would be an interesting hypothetical to ask.
That's tough. I think that it's easier to picture bad guys. It'd be cool to see, I don't know, someone like Idris Elba play a bad guy. Or, something like that. But it's too tough. There's too many.
That's true. The bad guys. I think I can almost think of more bad guys I would like to see than good guys. Because you're right. There'd be a lot of really cool. Did you see? And the only reason why I ask is because Peter Dinklage, I guess, had mentioned that he would like to be in a Star Wars.
So did somebody else. I forget who now. I'm trying to think of who, but it was a big name.
Yeah, and so like now there's this whole big push from fans to try to get him to be one of the main characters in the
new trilogy.
In the trilogy. Yeah, in the new trilogy.
Well, Emilia Clarke is in the Han Solo movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
I didn't even know this, but I guess Paul Bettany and Thandie Newton are both in the Han Solo movie as well. I didn't know either one of those was in it. But
I have not, I am so like out of the loop on the Han Solo movie, which is great, but it's still like I'm like there's more people in it than I realized because I'd seen like basically like what they had released of the cast list so far, and I was like, oh man, there's more people in this than I thought. So
yeah,
it's Emilia Clarke. I'm interested to see what her character is because like we were saying before, I don't like she can't play, or if she does play the love interest of Han, we know it's not going to last. So will it really be interesting? Because we know it's not like, you know, whatever. Oh well, okay, no, it won't be. So maybe she's like the love interest of Lando, but we know that didn't last either, unless she dies. She'll probably die.
Or if it'll be Thandie Newton.
She'll probably die. Yeah. Well, yeah, of course, yeah. I don't know. I'm excited to see what they do with the like CGI as far as like the races go, because you know we're gonna see like the Kessel Run and all that stuff. So I'm just excited, like, because the pod racing and stuff is always like some of my favorites. So it'd just be cool to see, you know.
I just lagged out while planting and it went away.
Sick.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the effects will probably be top notch, and Ron Howard makes cool movies. But I don't know. I was thinking about it today. This is the first movie we've gotten Star Wars related that is going to make a lot of people mad because there's expectations in terms of how to treat the character. The first like non-saga Star Wars movie, because Rogue One no one cared about because it's all brand new characters. So no one's like invested in the, you know, what the characters mean to them or anything like that. Whereas Han Solo means a lot to a lot of people. So this is could be really an interesting thing.
Yeah, I'll have to say, with after what just happened with a lot of fans and how they feel about how Luke got kind of treated in The Last Jedi, going into the Han Solo movie, if they don't do it correctly, you're right, a lot of people could be like, Disney's, you know, trying to ruin Star Wars, which like I saw today that petition they have going this to remove Last Jedi from the canon line. Has gotten like I think like 13,000 signatures.
Yeah, now there's another petition too to get Rian Johnson to admit that the movie's bad or something like that. Like they're just grasping at straws at this point. But
Say it's
yeah,
bad.
people are gonna be mad regardless. But I mean, it's pretty risky. It's not risky, but it's Disney clearly just doesn't care what you think, because Rogue One was their chance to do, you know, whatever they wanted because there was no preconceptions about the characters or anything, and now you've got this movie where, you know, most of the characters mean a lot, so it's going to be an interesting difference.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think the Han Solo movie's gonna. I was worried about it, but now I'm actually getting really excited about it because I'm trying to just now after seeing The Last Jedi, I'm just excited to see how different Star Wars is kind of becoming now, but also kind of having those things that do keep it Star Wars. The only one that I will agree with you that didn't quite do that was Rogue One. I love the movie, but I will agree that it didn't. It was the least Star Wars movie of all the Star Wars. Like
oh yeah, easy. The more I watch it, the less I like it too, which is really sad for me because I want to like it.
I really love that movie. The more it's so funny because the more I watch it, the more I like it. But I do
Charlie
agree
had it
with
on
you.
when I came home, and I was like, "Oh, this is bad."
Oh, she was watching it. Yeah, I think it's on Netflix. I'm pretty sure. I saw that. My sister told me actually, Lord of the Rings is on Netflix.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I know that's kind of off topic, but I love Lord of the Rings, so check that out. But yeah, yeah. Either way, I thought that was interesting. Like I said, what's his name got mentioned for the trilogy, so I just thought it'd be funny to see who else is gonna what other name is gonna come up. But like, we're still so far away from any I guess I heard or read that Rian Johnson's already pitched the idea for the plot line or however the news.
Oh yeah, that's why they gave him the trilogy. The trilogy's written.
Yeah, so I mean, whatever's gonna happen, and I mean, obviously it might change or flex because it's so far ahead of, the movie.
It's only like 3 years away.
Really? Are they? So is it? It can't possibly. So is it already in production?
It's the year after Kenobi or whatever the story is going to be after episode 9.
At this point, if they don't give us Kenobi, it'll be.
Well, the problem is that every other year there's going to be a Star Wars story and a trilogy movie. So for the next 7 years, there's a Star Wars movie.
Oh man, that's exactly I think we cursed ourselves because we had that long discussion about how we never we could wait 30 years before we see a Star Wars movie, and then it was literally every single year for the next 20 years you will see Star Wars. Oh my god, I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, I'm pretty worried about it, only because, well, I don't know, because a lot of people are saying, and you guys watch Marvel movies more than me, so you'll have to confirm this or not, but a lot of people saying that Marvel is starting to bounce back and the movies are starting to get better. But that
the unique ones are. The Black Panther is going to be ridiculous, and all the new characters are cool, but all the established ones where they keep just remaking, and X-Men and Spider-Man, and they just need to commit. Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All I keep thinking is and I know we've already talked about it, but I'm just where in the world or where in the galaxy is, first off, where's Carmen Sandiego? That's what I've been trying to figure out for a long time.
In the world?
And secondly, dude, that game was intensely hard. I don't know if any other kid ever beat that game sitting down at the computer, but that game was hard. That game, and what was it, Oregon Trail or whatever? I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue what I was doing. I had no clue what I was doing.
Sniping rabbits because they were harder to hit.
360 no scope.
Yeah. Throwing my chair at the computer because I'm so hyped. Whoa!
Oh my god! I remember putting that game in with a floppy disk. That was way back when. But yeah, so
sidetracked.
I just keep thinking where could they possibly be putting this trilogy, and then what because he keeps saying oh, we're gonna see characters we haven't seen, we're gonna be a part in the galaxy we haven't seen before, but what time in the galaxy are we gonna be seeing this point? Because even if we don't see characters we've ever seen before, and we get no callbacks, if it's the first time we ever don't if for the first time we don't see R2 and C3PO in a movie, I'm fine with that as long as it's at a time that I'm actually gonna care about. Because if it's during the Empire, I don't know if I want to I'm more apt to watch it if it's after the Empire or before, like with the Clone Wars. Anything in between that. I don't know if I really want to see a movie on that. Not that I don't like it. I don't know.
I'm kind of hoping it's like an Underworlds type thing, like more bounty hunters and stuff. Hopefully, that's what I was like thinking it's gonna be, because that'd be really cool. Like bounty hunters.
Jay-Z is Darth Revan.
Yeah, Jay-Z is Darth Revan. Yeah.
That'd be badass.
Oh my god, that would be so badass.
I would dig it. To be honest.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. Can Jay-Z even act? I've never even seen him act in it.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
You think they asked Aiden Christensen if he could act?
Oh my god, that's rough, man. That's rough. That's terrible. Yeah, I guess that's true. He would be good. I guess. Was Darth Revan black?
He is now. Jay-Z wants him to
be. He is now. That's so funny. I'm trying to remember. I'm like, I don't know what color Darth Revan was.
He's not canon.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. That's true. He's not. They have the toy out though for like the Black Series toy, and it's really awesome.
They've been doing that with a lot of non-canon characters though.
Yeah, they have
Tarn and Mara Jade too.
Yeah, and they did it with what's her name, Janina Solo, like
yeah, Jaina. And Jason and Anakin.
Oh really? I haven't seen. I saw the Jason. I saw the Jason one. That was really cool that they make those figures, because I was like, it made me think I thought for a second that they were canon because the characters were out, but I was like, wait, that can't make any sense because then they'd be in the movies.
Yeah.
Oh well. Too bad. Because what's her name? His daughter is awesome. She's like a pilot who's also a
yeah, she's a Jedi pilot. She's so sick. Those books are really good.
Yeah, they are really good. Yeah, those are awesome books. If you guys, I don't know, I like I say all the time, like I feel like I get more out of the books sometimes than I do the movies, just because they go into like
a book would be like a 13-hour movie.
Yeah,
there's just so much more detail and more side. I don't know.
Yeah, intrigue. Yeah. So, other than talking about the fate of the Jedi Order, Star Wars Battlefront 2, we're supposed to be getting some DLC very soon, but how are you guys feeling about, because we've been talking so much about The Last Jedi. Yeah, we've been talking so little about Battlefront 2 because The Last Jedi came out, but like, how are you guys feeling about the seasons so far? Because we're still in the first season.
We talked about that last week.
Oh, did you guys already talk about that?
A little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, season 1's over now. The First Order.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
First Order 1.
Yeah.
Will, were you in the First Order or were you Resistance?
Yeah.
What did you win?
I definitely joined the First Order.
What did you guys win? Because we still got a pack as Resistance, so I was kind of confused by that. So I was like, what was the point of?
Yeah, no, there was a bunch.
We only got one celebration. They got two, I think. Jared.
Okay, so they got an extra celebration pack.
Yeah, I believe so. But I thought. I mean, I thought that the little goals that they gave you were cool, but some of them were a little bit
cheesy,
like just a little bit kind of cheesy, and like a little bit ridiculous. Like some of them, I was never gonna be able to complete unless I played like all the time.
But some of them just weren't compelling. I didn't think any of them were too challenging. They just weren't like, I don't know, relevant.
Overall, it was a cool season though. I like Kraid a lot. So that was cool. And then
right, that's
cool.
Did
you like Kraid? I didn't like Kraid.
I love Kraid, dude. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah,
you like sniping. I hate Kraid.
The package is on the ground.
Oh,
I like Kraid a lot too, though.
Like the spears are cool.
It's like you feel like what's that game at the carnival?
That's actually my favorite.
Whack-a-mole. I feel like it's like whack-a-mole. Like you like pop your head up and then you
if you're good at whack-a-mole, you're great at Kraid. So.
Jared's good at whack-a-mole. That's what he likes.
Dude, I'm great at whack-a-mole.
I'm great at whack-a-mole.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite map.
Really? It's your favorite map? Crate? Really? I like when you get inside and you have to defend, like, the inside, but outside sucks, man. I hate that flat ground, like, it's, I don't like it. I'm not a fan. So far, my favorite map is, Death Star. For sure.
I like Death Star a lot, too.
Death Star
I mean, Crate is, I like Crate a lot. It's one of my favorite maps. It's not my favorite map, though. But I get what Jared's saying. But yeah, I wanted to ask Will, I mean, maybe out of Season 2, maybe in general, what do you, like, we've talked about kind of characters we want to see out of Battlefront, maybe maps or game types. What are you hoping to get via DLC? Graybeard Obi-Wan would be cool too if he was like a light side Emperor. I never even thought about that. Yeah.
Tarkin.
Exactly what we said.
Yeah, that's what we were saying too. Is there a mode from Battlefront 1 that you would like to see come back? That's true.
Yeah. The Hero vs. Villains has been supremely improved upon, it's really awesome.
I just like the story mode things, like the Death Star game type, where it was like different waves of Death Star. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I did like that. I did enjoy that. I mean, I also what was the mode where you could like it was basically like you held the spot for a specific amount of time, like yeah, like the drop zone. Yeah, I like that because then you got like, you know, power ups and then, you know,
cool. It was unique too.
Yeah, I thought Drop Zone was pretty fun. Like, I remember playing it for the beta and being like, all right, this game is gonna, like, that's what sold me on the game, was the game mode and like the map itself. But I thought, I agree. I thought the lack of, not there was a lack of game modes in this one because we got more content all around. But I was just kind of hoping like we get.
Starfighter Assault's way better in this game, I think.
And the game modes don't matter. Like you don't get objective points. So what's the point of playing Galactic Assault as opposed to Blast versus Strike versus Blast or whatever?
Well, Galactic Assault you can play heroes, Strike you don't. That's the...
Right. But I mean, in terms of progression, it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, in terms of progression, it really just comes down to whatever you're better at or whatever you like more. Because I mean, the progression just comes down to how much you're how much you're playing more than how well you're playing. I guess.
Right, which was not true in the first game. So I mean, I would like to see something like that come back, more of a merit-based progression and also class progression that makes more sense. But we've talked about that. What about
the class
Will?
progression, dude.
Space and yeah, that's what was so cool about the old Battlefront 2.
Yeah, that's what made it amazing. I was really hoping that we did get something like that because there's that one space battle, I think it's Fondor, where you can like, part of it is like you have to fly into a thing to shoot, like, you know, because I've been playing a lot of Starfighter Assault. Yeah, because I'm not bad at Starfighter Assault. I always tend to get more credits that way, so I've just been playing that more so I can just stack credits. So there's like a couple where you actually have to fly kind of like into, you know, another space thing to be able to shoot stuff. So I'm like, so it doesn't seem like it'd be too far off to like just have to park it, get out, you know, go blow something up, get back in. I don't know.
Well, did you guys get?
Yeah, we kind of had something like that with the Death Star mode in the first game. It just wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was
true.
Distinct waves, but that was as close as we've gotten, and it was really fun. But I agree with that. Well,
yeah. Did you see the survey?
Mustafar would be awesome.
What did you say, Jared?
They sent out a survey to people who. I got an email from EA saying like you had 10 points like a 10-point bank, and then they give you like a list of what you would want, and you could put as many points in like any category. And one of them was like Galactic Conquest.
I didn't get that survey.
More challenges, more guns, stuff like that. So they're
more
listed.
weapons would be nice.
Yeah,
there's definitely not enough.
So
weapons.
I put into like customization. I put some, and then Galactic Conquest would be cool. I put into that, and like better challenges.
Yeah, I don't get having a class system and not having weapons.
Just like it just doesn't make sense the way that you level up. It's like based on the cards that you have. It's not based on how many kills you have with that class or anything. Because for a while,
it's just weird that there's games that have been out for, 10 or 15 years that do it
way better
in that way.
Yeah, like, I didn't understand it at all. It took me a second to figure it out.
It took everyone a second because you're playing as Assault, right? For majority of the time, then you look at your officer class and somehow it's 10 levels higher. You're like, what's going on?
Right. I remember we literally thought that it was broken. Remember during the beta, we thought the numbers were wrong. Like, how am I level 0? I just got 20 kills with that. So that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I was confused by the fact that I was playing for so long, but then nothing was happening.
Yeah.
So I was like, why am I even playing for like 2 weeks, but he's stuck at level 15?
But
like,
apparently they are tweaking it, but I don't know like if they can tweak it enough without completely ruining like everything that we've done so far.
And then like the issue was that like I saved up tons of credits because I'm like, that's always how I play games. I just like hoard credits and then spend a ton at one time. So I waited, and then I unlocked like tons of stuff for my heavy class. So my heavy in one shot went from 20-something all the way up to like 38. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what was such a big issue, like with the whole just being able to buy, like that's why people were so upset about it, because I'm like, if you, like now I get it. Because before I didn't understand that you could level up this way. But now that I get you can level up this way, I'm like, yeah, now that's why people didn't want to be able to spend money, because you could have just bought a perfect level with with every character if you wanted to, if you felt like spending the money. You know what I mean? And that's not right. Not at all. So it didn't come down to just being like, oh, I really like this whatever on my weapon and I don't want to wait to unlock it, I'm just going to pay for it. It's like, oh, if I want to actually be really good at the game, I can just pay more. And that's shouldn't be the way it works. But luckily,
what about maps, Will?
You said Mustafar.
Oh, Mustafar and Coruscant. Yeah.
Oh, Coruscant.
Ooh, yeah, lower levels? That would be cool. I haven't even thought about it that way.
That'd be cool.
I actually want to see a starfighter assault in Coruscant. But like kind of like lower to the ground, so you have to like weave in and out of like the buildings and stuff.
So you said you wanted young Obi-Wan. Well, who would you want as a villain then in DLC?
Yeah, we're out. That's it. That's the only hero. I mean, villain. Yeah, I didn't like Grievous.
Really? I always liked Grievous. I like the whole idea of his like collecting Jedi lightsabers. I always thought that was cool.
Why? He's not worthy.
What are you talking about, dude? He wrecks people.
Yeah, he like goes. He got him somehow. He got his lightsabers.
Yeah, from weak ass knights. How did he do when he fought a master? He died to a blaster shot to the ribcage.
Yeah, but I'll say this: he fought Kenobi though. Like he fought the master. Like Kenobi's nasty.
He would have died like that to Mace. He would have died like that to any one of the masters. Probably quicker, because Obi-Wan fights like a wuss sometimes.
Dude, but he also fights Jedi's like 3-on-1.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Now you're naming like massive, like you're naming like juggernauts within like, the Jedi world. No, it's killing Padawans for his.
It's not editing.
He is. Like half of them are probably from Youngman's training.
Nah, they're like pretty powerful. No. I mean, they're not top tier, but he's still wrecking them.
For impressive. A cyborg, that's not bad.
Yeah, dude, he's got like he has so many lightsabers.
I think that he's he's made better by the extended universe. Like he's made better by the Clone Wars.
For sure.
For sure, yeah.
but I don't want to have to watch the Clone Wars to get a character's value. Like, if you take him on episode 3's merits alone, I think he's terrible. I agree with Will. If you watch, if you watch Clone Wars, then he's cool. Like, whatever, he's pretty strong. He's like, you know, that specter over your shoulder and all that. But if you just take him as episode 3 goes, he's awful. I can't even think of a good adjective for it other than just trash.
I really liked him. I always thought he was cool. I always thought he was a cool villain.
Yeah, but
that's so funny.
His fight was fun, but like writing wise, like everything that people complain about with Last Jedi and Force Awakens in terms of like character development, like all he does is come out of nowhere and he's got 4 lightsabers and no force sensitivity and he's wrecking people. Like that's and not only that, but he's got guards that can fight sabers too.
Oh yeah.
It's useless. Star Wars is all about, you know, force users and lightsaber duels between people who have
Now,
lightsabers.
I never even questioned the fact or thought about the fact that he wasn't a force user. Like, I never was like, oh man, Grievous should have been a force user. I was just like, oh no, he's like a cyborg.
I'm not saying he should have been. I'm just saying that he, the fact that he's not.
Or whatever he is, like, he's like part human, part. Isn't he like, he has like at least
a race. I forget the name of the race, but he's
human heart or something like that.
Pretty much, Dooku's army like wrecked his whole home planet, and then Dooku manipulated him into thinking that it was the Jedi's fault. And that's how he got it.
Right. Yes, that's right. Yeah. So I don't like. So like you said, his story's really interesting, and I agree.
Not in the movie. It's interesting in the show.
Not in the movie. Not in the movie. Yeah, you're right.
In the movie, it's useless. You're like, who the hell is this? Alright, it's 45 minutes of watching him fight and cough.
Well, what else do you do when you kill off one of the best villains that you ever are gonna have in the first movie? You have to come up with something. It's like, alright, so we got this guy we had a guy with 2 sabers, now we got a guy with 4. You know?
I don't know. It should have just been Dooku fighting. All the fights Dooku had, I mean, all the fights from episode 2 and 3 should have all been Dooku fights, other than the Emperor's.
Even Obi-Wan versus Dooku?
Obi-Wan versus Grievous? Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. He was one of the masters.
Yeah, he was the master. He was on the I don't think he was on the council. Was he on the council?
I don't know.
But I don't know.
But regardless, Grievous is crap. I think he would be cool to play in Battlefront because he got 4 arms and spins him around, but I don't need him. But I also can't think of a better Darksider to have. Like, I would prefer Grievous over Dooku. Yeah, but I mean, what would make him different? That would be like having the 2 Falcons.
His pistol?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, his pistol, and then he has,
I do like the way you're thinking when you're talking about bounty hunters. Like, you could have IG-88 or Bosk or... I mean,
bring Dengar back.
Yeah, there's a million bounty hunters you could have. You could have that lady from Attack of the Clones, the shapeshifter.
Zam Wessel.
Yeah, there's like a billion bounty hunters, all of whom are better than, at least in terms of playstyle, they're more interesting than Dooku would be.
Cad Bane.
Dooku would just be like
Bane. That's getting really obscure.
Vader and the Emperor mixed up.
I don't know. Dooku could be a whole different character, I think.
Dooku could be unique in having a lightsaber and being able to use lightning. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, but he's gonna be slow like Vader, and heavy like the Emperor.
I just think he would be a completely different. I feel like he'd be more of a mix of Kylo and Vader, where he'd be like a little bit heavier, but I think like he'd have more mobility than Vader would. You know what I mean? Because Vader has a suit that like weighs him down. So I think he'd be able to move a little faster than Vader did. I don't know. I think I'd like to play as Dooku. I still am all on board.
I just think this would move more uniquely. Yeah, you're stupid though.
Playable
I want to playable Tarkin, man. That's where it's at.
That'd be kind of cool if you call him like orbitals and stuff.
He's an officer.
It would be better than Krennic.
They call him like orbitals. Exactly, it'd be way better than Krennic.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's your only scale to grade it on.
It'd be cool if you could spawn in like bodyguards maybe, just like Krennic did in the first game.
Yeah,
it would be
see?
Krennic.
Orbital strikes.
Potential.
It would just be a Krennic skin.
For the Rebel Alliance.
And really bad in the movie.
Turret ready.
Yeah.
Dude, his shot, his one-hit shot from across the map.
Yeah. Yeah, his weapon was awesome. I can't remember the name of it, but I loved it. That was like one of my favorites because it had the reload. Yeah, it had the actual projectiles instead of like the laser. I thought that was so dope. Yeah, right. I love that gun. But yeah, I don't know. Sounds good. I think I thought Grievous was all right.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Grievous and maybe Anakin and Obi-Wan.
It's gonna be too close. It's definitely gonna be Clone Wars.
Mustafar era Anakin would be a sick bad guy. He's way faster than Vader. He's really fast with his saber. He'd be like a faster Kylo. But they're not gonna do it.
Yeah, they're not gonna do it.
No. I think they're gonna do. I think they're gonna do Grievous and they're gonna do Obi-Wan, young Obi-Wan. I think that's what they're gonna do. But I don't know, because I don't know if they're trying to time the new DLC with the movie.
Well, they gotta do something because the game's dying because Fortnite's taking over everything.
Yeah.
Is it really that good? I did not even.
It's that popular with the Frat Boys, and it's free.
Is it free? Is it freemium though?
No, it's free.
Or is it like actually like you can?
There's no way to get better at the game by paying for it.
Okay, cool.
Anything you pay for is cosmetic.
Yeah, it's just pure cosmetic.
It's all cosmetic. All right, man. Well, we're gonna try it. Well, all right. Well, that's a good place to end because I'm gonna go try out Fortnite while I'm actually like. Thanks for joining us. About a week off from working so much, so I'll be good to go the next couple weeks to be back on, so I shouldn't miss anything.
Or news on the DLC or something. Yeah.
Anything to talk about with any trailer.
Yeah, every single time we've been wrong. Every time. So we're probably wrong about this one.
It's coming out like in half an hour. And we're just stupid.
Yeah, right. And we're just not understanding. It's probably out. It probably came out while we were talking. But yeah, so hopefully we'll see one soon. Like you said, we probably won't see one before Black Panther the Super Bowl, but we can hope. Whatever. We can always hope.
There's always hope. Bird up. Oh, no problem, man. Yep.